Sweet balls, everyone. Your phone rings during class. That's the VIHG standard. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from the 6th canto, chapter 2, text 16. Gurnam cha lagunam cha Guruni cha Maguni cha Paschat Chittani Japanam Yatvo Kanti Maheshibi Gurnam cha Lahunam cha Gurnuni cha Lahuni cha Vasachitjani Papanam Yadvokanti Maheshibi. Marji. Word for word. Guru Nam, heavy. Cha, and. Lagunam, light. Cha, also. Guruni, heavy. Cha, and. Laguni, light. Cha, also. Prashachitani, the process of atonement. Papapam, papanam, of sinful activities. Yatva, knowing perfectly well. Uktani, have been described. Maharishibi, by great sages. So, yesterday we read text number 13, so I'll read 14 and 15, and because there's no purport to 14 and 15, short purport. So first I'll read text 14. One who chants the holy name of the Lord is immediately free from the reaction of unlimited sins, even if he chants indirectly to indicate something else, jokingly, by musical entertainment, or even neglectfully. This is accepted by all learned scholars of the Scripture. Text 15. If one chants the holy name of Hari and then dies because of an accidental misfortune, such as falling from the top of a house, slipping and suffering broken bones while traveling on the road, being bitten by a serpent, be afflicted with pain and high fever, or being injured by a weapon was immediately absolved from having to enter hellish life, even though he is sinful. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam chante kilevaram tam tam evaiti kunteya sadat tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, that state he will attain without fail. If one practices chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, he's not naturally expected to chant Hare Krishna when he meets with some accident. Even without practice, however, if one somehow or other chants the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, when he meets with an accident and dies, he'll be saved from hellish life after death. And today's verse, text number 16. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have ascertained that one should atone for heavy sins by undergoing heavy process of atonement. One should atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonement. Chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all effects of the sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes an incident that took place when Samba was rescued from the punishment of the Kauravas. Samba fell in love with the daughter of Duryodhana, and since, according to Kshatriya custom, one is not offered a Kshatriya's daughter unless he displays his chivalrous valor. Samba abducted her. Consequently, Samba was arrested by the Kurus. Later, when Lord Balaram came to rescue him, there was an argument about Samba's release. Since the argument was not settled, Balaram showed his power in such a way that all of Hastinapur trembled and would have been vanquished as if by a great earthquake. Then the matter was settled, and Samba married Duryodhana's daughter. The purport is that one should take shelter of Krishna Balaram. In Krishna Balaram Mandir, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose protected power is so great that it cannot be equaled in the material world. However powerful the reaction of one's sins, they will immediately be vanquished if one chants the name of Hare Krishna, Balaram or Narayan. Omar Ginantarandasya Jananjana Slakaya Chakshu Imitam Jena Tasme Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Danti Swapatantikam Panchakopatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Parinam Pavnevyo Vaishnevyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Translation once again. Authorities who are learned scholars and sages have carefully ascertained that one should atone for heavy sins by undergoing a heavy process of atonement, and one should atone for lighter sins by undergoing lighter atonement. Chanting Hare Krishna, however, chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, however, vanquishes all the effects of sinful activities, regardless of whether heavy or light. So in the Krishna book, chapter 68, story of Samba. Samba was one of Krishna's sons. He was a Maharati. There was Rati, Ekrati, and Maharati. So Maharatis have the strength of 10,000 elephants, and they can defeat any of their enemies. So Samba was attracted to Lakshmana, the daughter of Duryodhana, but she was not inclined to marry him. Anyway, he went to the Duryodhana's place, and in the Kshatriya spirit, he kidnapped Lakshmana, Duryodhana's daughter. And the Kurus were not pleased with this, and they decided to arrest Samba. But they knew that the Pandavas, the other dynasty, would be upset with this. But they thought, well, our strength is much superior to theirs, so what can they do? So they challenged Samba to a fight. When a Kshatriya is challenged to a fight, he can't say no. He can't run away. He has to accept the challenge. So the Guru fought with Samba, and they didn't want to kill him. They weren't intending on killing him, only to arrest him. So they had a fight with Samba, and they were very pleased with his his fighting ability. Being the son of Lord Krishna, he had all the qualities of Krishna also. But somehow, it took 6 Maharathis to capture Samba and put him in their custody. So then the Yadav dynasty heard of this. They were thinking that we should fight with the Kurus. But Balaram said, no, first let me go there and arrange a settlement to prevent any fighting. So Balaram went there and asked them to make a peace settlement and give back Samba. But they refused. And not only that, they used abusive language, blasphemy language against the Yadavas. They said, hello, how is it that the shoes have come to their head? So they spoke like this and then went away, and Balaram was very angry. So Balaram, he has a very hot temper. He gets angry very easily. So he decided that these Kurus have to be taught a lesson. So he took his plow and he started to drag the whole city of Hastinapur down to the Yamuna. When that happened, the Kurus, they came to their senses and they brought Shamba and Lakshmana to Lord Balaram so that he would forgive them. But Shamba had kidnapped Lakshmana. She wasn't inclined to marry him, but because he touched her, he was the only one that could marry her. That was the Vedic system. Even in Prabhupada's time, if a girl went out of the house or touched by another man, no one would marry that girl. Whereas in today's society, there's no such thing. No one knows anything about protecting women, or what they should do and what they should not do. But this story is related here because it's by Balaram's power, he was able to, he could destroy the whole city of Hastinapur. But they settled the matter. And this is in connection with chanting the holy name. Because chanting the holy name, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare. One can vanquish the effects of all sinful activities, whether heavy or light. So this story of Ajamil, he was a Brahmin in his youth, very dutiful Brahmin, had all good qualities, and he was a worshipper, worshipped Narayan as his Istadeva, worshipable deity. But then at one point, he went to bring some flowers for his father for the puja, he saw a prostitute and a Sudra man embracing in an intoxicated condition. And then he became attached to that prostitute and spent the balance of his life committing sinful activities and living with the prostitute. Of course, when we think of a prostitute, we think that's someone who goes out and collects money, sells her body for money. But this is a normal. Nowadays, this is normal for all the ladies in society and all the men in society. Everyone is sinful and having illicit sex. There's no restriction. But this is the Kali Yuga, the Iron Age, quarrel and hypocrisy. That there's no restriction. Men and women are always mingling together. But it wasn't like that. In Vedic culture, the men and women are kept separate. The brahmachari goes to the Gurukul, and then at the age of 25, from 5 to 25, and then at the age of 25, he can, with the permission of his guru, he can marry and live a peaceful Krishna-conscious life as a grihastra. Or if he chooses, he can stay brahmachari his whole life. We know Lord Brahma, he's the original creator of the whole universe, secondary creator, because he came from Lord Vishnu. But he ordered the 4 Kumaras, they took birth from Brahma, to get married and populate the world. But the 4 Kumaras decided that we're not going to do that, because that's one instruction the spiritual master gives you don't have to follow. The spiritual master instructs you to get married, but you don't want to get married. You don't have to follow that instruction. So the 4 Kumaras decided they would never get over 4 or 5 years old. So this way, they'd never be agitated for sex life and they'd never get married. So they're eternal brahmacharis. Then they're also the leaders, or the head of one sampradaya, the Kumara Sampradaya. So this is here it's describing in 3 verses the importance of chanting, how the holy name has effect. This is all Sanketya. When one chants the name by calling his son, by singing some discourse or singing, by disregard or inattentive, or cutting jokes, or play, or sleep, this is one chants the holy name, all great sins are destroyed. This is called namabhas, because this chanting is not meant to counteract the sins. But King Vena, we know the story of Vena. Vena was a terrible person, even in his childhood. If he had an argument with his friends, he would just kill them. And he grew up and they made him the king. Wherever Vena went, they said, "Here comes terrible Vena." And then the thieves and rogues would flee in fear and hide. So Vena took the throne, and the Brahmins, the king was supposed to take advice from the Brahmins. So the king, Vena, was requested by the Brahmins to lead the people properly, protect the people properly. But Vena was a demon, and even though he chanted the name of Vishnu at one point, he did not get the same effect as Ajamil got by chanting Narayan at the time of death. Or says here, by Balaram is mentioned, by Balaram's ability to destroy the Kuru, this chanting is like that. It easily has effect if one chants knowingly or unknowingly, but not for the purpose of destroying one's sins or counteracting sins. So there's 10 offenses to the holy name. The first offense is to blaspheme devotees of the Lord. This is a this is called the mad elephant offense. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Jai Krishna Balaram Gauranitai Krishna Radhe Shyam Ki Jai. Chaitanya Charitamrita is said, if the devotee commits an offense at the feet of a Vaishnava while cultivating the creeper of devotional service in the material world, his offense is compared to a mad elephant that uproots the creeper and breaks it. In this way, the leaves of the creeper dry up. So this is Vaishnava aparad. Should be avoided at all costs. If you offend a lesser Vaishnava or a neophyte Vaishnava, the reaction is less. If you offend a Uttamaadhikari, a advanced Vaishnava, then the effect is more severe. Anyway, if you commit Vaishnava aparad, then no one can save you. Even Durvasa Muni, he went to see Maharaj Ambarish, and Maharaj Ambarish was fasting, observing Ekadasi Dwadasi for 1 year. So when Durvasa Muni came, it was time for him to break his fast. So he told Durvasa Muni, you go and take bath and come back and I'll feed you. So Durvasa Muni did that. He went to take bath, and while he was gone, Maharaj Ambarish consulted with some Brahmins what he should do, because he wanted to keep his vow, keep his vrat intact, where he observed the Nirjala Ekadasi. The next day, you're supposed to break Ekadasi at a certain time. So he drank a little water, because he was fasting. He was doing Nirjal. When you do Nirjal, then you can break the fast by drinking water. So he drank a little water to break the fast. But it was an insignificant offense, but Durvasa Muni is the expansion of Lord Shiva, and he has a very quick temper. So he knew what happened, and he accused Maharaj Ambarish of violating the proper etiquette in receiving a guest. So he took a hair out of his head, he threw it on the ground, and a big fiery demon started to attack Maharaj Ambarish. But Maharaj Ambarish was a sold-out devotee. He knew Krishna would protect him. He was actually given the Sudarshan Chakra by Lord Vishnu. So, because Durvasa Muni had committed Vaishnava aparad, his Sudarshan Chakra started chasing him. And he went everywhere in the material world. He even went up to Svetadvip to Lord Vishnu and asked for protection. But no one could give him protection. Even Lord Vishnu wasn't pleased with his offense. Said, I cannot save you. The only thing that will save you is you have to go back to Maharaj Ambarish and beg forgiveness. So Durvasa Muni did that. And while Durvasa Muni was away 1 year, Maharaj Ambarish again observed Ekadasi Dwadasi. And also only drank water. So he was forgiven. Durvasa Muni was forgiven for his offense, and Sudarshan Chakra stopped chasing him. So this is the Hati Mata, mad elephant offense. If you if you're growing something in a garden, you have to put a fence around it. Especially in India, especially in Vrindavan, if you don't put a fence around it, the monkeys will come, so many animals will come and destroy your creeper. So, it's the first offense is often Prabhupada says this is the most grievous offense, to blaspheme or criticize the Vaishnava devotee. So all devotees should be very careful in this regard. Otherwise, your devotional service can be checked not only for this lifetime, for many lifetimes. You lose your taste for chanting, you lose your taste for devotional service, and you may end up leaving the movement. We've seen this many times, why people, someone may ask why people leave Krishna consciousness. It's due either to the desire, material desires to enjoy life. This is called bhukti mukti, or liberation, to get liberated from the material world, or due to offenses. We know Sabari Muni was in the water, underneath the moon for 10,000 years. Then Garuda came there and ate one big fish, the leader of the fishes. So Sabari Muni interfered with Garuda. Garuda is a Vaishnava, but he has a bird body, so he eats fish. But he's a great Vaishnava, the Lord's carrier. So by that offense, Subara Muni had to come out of the water after 10,000 years of meditation, went to Mathura to see the king Mandapa, and said, I want to marry your daughter. The king said, my daughter can choose to marry whoever they want. But when they looked at Subara Muni, he was all wrinkled, old looking from being in the water so long. So he changed his form into a beautiful young man, and he not only married one of the queens, he married 50 queens. And he had 100 children from each queen. That's 5,000 children. It's a lot of mouths to feed. But eventually he and his queens became detached and went to the forest and went back to Godhead. So this is Vaishnava aparad, to offend the Vaishnava or criticize Vaishnavas. This must be avoided at all costs. And so this verse indicates that by chanting, one can uproot all the sins that one commits in this life. And the other methods of atonement are described in the Vedas and in the Mahabharata. It says if you kill a tree, that's a sinful activity. To atone for that, you have to make a public announcement, I've killed a tree, and then fast for 3 days. But this atonement in the Vedas does not uproot the desire for sinful activities. It may free one from previous sins, but it doesn't uproot the desire. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago to inaugurate the Sankirtan movement, which is the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. And when Lord Chaitanya went to Gaya, he took initiation from Ishvara Puri. At the beginning of his life, he was known as Nimai Pandit. He was the scholar, studied Shastra, and he could defeat anyone. He would always argue with people on the Shastric injunctions and defeat them in grammar and logic. But when he went to Gaya and met Ishvara Puri, took initiation from him, then he came back to Navadvip and started exhibiting ecstatic symptoms. So Mother Sachi became worried, and the neighbors also were saying that he has a wind disorder. So better you tie him up and rub coconut oil on his head to reduce the heat. So, but then Srivas Thakur came to see Mahaprabhu, and he saw his condition exhibiting ecstatic symptoms. Though Srivas said, yes, this madness is good. I wish I could have that same madness. Because it wasn't a madness, it was ecstatic love for Krishna, or the highest form of prema bhakti. We know Lord Chaitanya was in Benares. He took sannyas. Lord Chaitanya took Mayavadi sannyas, because at that time it was the social convention. Out of social convention, he took Mayavadi sannyas. But he never mixed with the Mayavadis in Benares. And he was just chanting and dancing and doing kirtan. So the Mayavadis were criticizing Lord Chaitanya, saying this is not the business of a sannyasi to chant and dance. They thought he was sentimental. So Chandrasekhar and Kashi Mishra were two devotees of the Lord. They couldn't tolerate this criticism of the Lord. So the Lord would avoid associating with Mayavadis. He would not associate with them, or he would not take prasadam with them. This is the Vaishnavas should be strict in this regard. We don't associate with Mayavadis or take prasadam with Mayavadis or have anything to do with Mayavadis, because they are offenders. So Lord Chaitanya wanted to rectify the situation. So he went to the place where Prakasananda Saraswati, he was the chief of the Mayavadis, not to be confused with Prabodhananda Saraswati. Two different personalities. Prabodhananda Saraswati was always a Vaishnava, and he wrote books about Vaishnavism and the glories of the Vrindavan Mahamrita. What's that word, Ma? Vrindavan Mahamrita. So Prabodhananda was a different person, and Prakasananda was the chief of the Mayavadi sannyasis. And Lord Chaitanya said in Chaitanya Bhagavat, I've given that person, Prakasananda Saraswati, I've given him leprosy because he's an offender to the Lord. Mayavadis are offenders to the Lord because they say God cannot have a form, He cannot have arms, He cannot have legs, He cannot have a mouth, He cannot have eyes, He cannot have ears, He cannot talk, speak, see. So they say God is dumb, deaf, lame. They deny the personal existence of the Lord. And they ultimately, when they want to merge into the Brahman effulgence. So Lord Chaitanya went to see the Mayavadi sannyasis, and he was sitting in the place where the people wash their feet and leave their shoes. Well, this is considered a contaminated place. But then Prakasananda Saraswati greeted Mahaprabhu and requested him to come and sit with the Mayavadi sannyasis. Then Mahaprabhu spoke the Vaishnava philosophy and defeated the Mayavadis on their, with Shankaracharya was empowered by, or ordered by the Lord Vishnu, Krishna, to preach Mayavadi philosophy. So they were studying the commentary to Shankaracharya. So Mahaprabhu said that the scriptures, the meaning of the scriptures is very clear, but the interpretation given by Shankaracharya is imaginary. And they agreed. They said, yes, we know that, but we're just following the line. And they eventually converted them all into Vaishnavism. So this was the power of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he took sannyas, he went all over South India preaching the glories of the holy name. It says in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Priti Viti Achayata Nagaradi Gram Sarvatra Pravahabe Moranam. in as many towns and villages as there are on the surface of the earth, may the holy name be preached. So this is the order that was given to Srila Prabhupada by his spiritual master to preach the holy name in the English-speaking world and all over the world, to spread the holy name as predicted by Lord Chaitanya in Chaitanya Bhagavat. So Lord Chaitanya himself, he didn't write any books. He didn't leave any book. He only wrote 8 slokas called the Shikshashtaka. But before that, we were talking about offenses. The first offense is to blaspheme devotees, and the 7th offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. So this is described in the Harinam Chintamani. This is also one of the biggest offenses. One could think that I can perform a sinful activity and then I'll counteract that by chanting. So this is this is also a grievous offense. Even if one thinks about committing an offense and even not doing it, but thinking about it says one has to go to hell. There's no way, you can't counteract nama parad. So one should not have, this is a hellish mentality, the wrong mentality. Then one can think, I can commit sinful activities and I'll just chant the holy name and then everything will be rectified. But chanting the holy name does destroy all sins if we chant without trying to counteract sinful activities. So this is Ajamil. He chanted the name of his son Narayan at the time of death. So here it describes so many ways. If one can chant the name at the time of death, then this is Namabhas. This will destroy all sins and enable one to go back to Godhead. So these 2 offenses should be avoided at all costs: blasphemy devotees and to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. If one by accident commits a sinful activity, Bhagavad Gita says he's still considered saintly. But if one continues to commit sinful activities and thinking that the holy name will save him, this is the wrong mentality. So this should be avoided at all times. But by bhakti, and following the 9 processes of devotional service, all one's sins can become destroyed. And one can attain prema. So Lord Chaitanya prayed that the Nam Namakarabhada Nijasara Sakti Chutapita Nijamata Smarne Na Kalaha Echadishri Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Daivam Idisham Hajini Ragaha. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benedictions to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of transcendental names such as Krishna and Govinda, in which you invest all your transcendental energies. There are no hard and fast rules for chanting, O my Lord. Out of kindness you enable us to approach you by your holy name. But I'm so unfortunate, I have no attraction for them. The first verse says, the glories of Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together. So this was the instructions given by Mahaprabhu on chanting the holy name. So at the time of initiation, they recite the 10 offenses and lecture on the 10 offenses, so we know what they are and try to avoid the 10 offenses. If you're chanting every day the Hare Krishna mantra, japa, 16 rounds, and you're not committing offenses intentionally, that is also considered namabhas. But the second canto, Srimad Bhagavatam says, if the ecstatic symptoms, hair standing on end, tears coming from the eyes, trembling of the body, voice faltering, if these ecstatic symptoms do not appear in the body of a devotee, he means he's chanting, or he's committing offenses. His heart is steel framed. So, due to offenses, we are chanting daily, but the symptoms are not there due to steel framed heart. So this Lord Chaitanya said, "Glory to Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together, and thus extinguish the blazing fire of repeated birth and death." This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge, increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. So the holy name of the Lord is Naman Chintamani Krishna's Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, is non-different than Krishna. Krishna's name, form, qualities are all equally powerful, transcendental. But we're chanting properly. If we're chanting without committing offenses, then the ecstatic symptoms will be there. Tears in the eyes, all these trembling of the body. So Lord Chaitanya received the holy name from his guru. He was Nimai Pandey. When he went back to Navadvip, he started exhibiting ecstatic symptoms. And when he met the Mayavadi sannyasis, they asked him, "You're a sannyasi, why you're not studying Vedanta? Why you're chanting and dancing in the streets?" And he said, "My guru instructed me. My guru said, you're a fool, you can't understand Vedanta. Don't try to study Vedanta, just chant and dance." So Lord Chaitanya said, "I went to my guru and said, what have you given me?" Every time I chant, I exhibit ecstatic symptoms, crying and tears in the eyes. So his guru embraced him and said, "You are greatly fortunate. You obtained prema bhakti." So he quoted a verse from the 11th canto, which says that if one chants and dances like a madman, not caring for outsiders, this is the symptom of an advanced devotee, that he exhibits all the ecstatic symptoms while chanting the holy name. So the holy name has the power to destroy all sins. It's like a child who is playing with matches, maybe catch the grass on fire. Innocent, he's an innocent child. So he's chanting. If one chants unknowingly, namabhas, there's a hotel chain called Ramada Inn. So every time people say that word, Ramada, they're chanting the holy name, because they're not aware that this holy name is also a name for Krishna, Hare Krishna. It's in the Maha mantra. So they're burning up their sinful activities just by doing that. And Ajamil, he chanted at the time of death, Narayan, but he was chanting the name of his son, because at the 88 years old, his 10th child was Narayan. He named his son Narayan, and he was always attached to his son. But when death came, he chanted the name Narayan in helpless condition. Therefore, when the Yamadutas came to take him to Yamaraj for punishment, the Vishnudutas came and said, "No, you can't take him. He's our man. Because he chanted the name of our Lord, he's now sinless." But the Yamadutas had never been obstructed from their duty. No one ever stopped them from taking a sinful man to Yamaraj. So they were surprised. They insisted that this is a sinful man. We have to take him to Yamaraj. But the Vishnudutas said, "No, he's not sinful anymore. He's atoned for his sin simply by chanting the name of Narayan at the time of death." So Ajamil chanted. First he was chanting the name of Narayan, but then he actually remembered Narayan from his childhood practice as a Brahmin. his Istadeva was Narayan. So he remembered Narayan from his childhood, and this saved him from going to hell and being punished by Yamaraj and going to hell. So Ajamil, he heard this conversation between the Yamadutas and Vishnudutas, and he didn't die, he wasn't dead, he was in a coma when he heard all this. So then the Yamadutas and Vishnus went away. He came out of his coma and renounced his family, renounced all his material possessions, went to Hardwar, practiced devotional service, and then he went back to Godhead, perfected his life. So this is the what is being described here. The chanting the holy name has the potency to take anyone back to Godhead. We just chant without offense. Even reading the Bhagavad Gita yesterday said if you hear the Bhagavad Gita and you're not envious and you're not offensive and you accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if you're not a pure devotee, you will go to Dhruvaloka, or the pole star, which is also Svetadvip, the planet where Lord Vishnu stays. It's an eternal planet. It's in this material world, but it's an eternal planet, and one gets an eternal life, Satchidananda, by going to Svetadvip, the pole star, and from there one can go to Vaikuntha. But this is Aishvarya Bhav. And Gop Kumar in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, he went to Vaikuntha dressed as a cowherd boy. And they said, what are you doing? You can't dress like that here. And then he wanted to embrace Lord Vishnu. They said, no, you can't do that here. This is not our mood. You change that dress. This is not Gokul Vrindavan, this is Vaikuntha. So Vaikuntha is Aishvarya Bhav, all in veneration. Not the prema, is not the bhav that you have in Gokul or Golok Vrindavan. The mood of the gopis, the mood of the Radharani. They had selfless love for Krishna. That was their only interest, was to please Krishna any way possible. When Krishna had a headache, he told Narada Muni, you bring some dust from someone's feet to cure my headache. So Narada Muni said, well, I can't give you my dust. I'll go to hell. Then he went to Dwarka, he asked the queens, Krishna has a headache, you please bring some dust. Give us your dust from your feet. The queens objected, no, we can't do that. So then he went to Vrindavan, he went to the gopis and said, Krishna has a headache, we need some dust. So the gopis said, yes, take as much as you want. They started collecting all the dust, giving it to Narada Muni. And Narada Muni asked the gopis, well, you may have to go to hell for this. But they said, well, we don't care. Whatever we do, even if we have to go to hell, if we can please Krishna, we can satisfy Krishna, then we're happy. So this was the mood of the gopis, the mood of the six Goswamis, really detached from anything which does not bring about Krishna consciousness or pure love for Krishna. So this is the goal of our Krishna consciousness movement, to come to the level of prema bhakti, Raj Bhakti, the goal, and follow in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan. But this is a very advanced stage. It may take some long time to come to that stage, but because now we're performing Vaidhi Bhakti, we have to follow the rules and regulations. And from the Vaidhi Bhakti, one can attain Bhava Bhakti, and then finally Prema Bhakti. So, this Aishvarya Bhav is not, it cripples the bhakti of the Vaishnava devotees. And we know Radhakund is the place where the Gaudiya Vaishnavas consider the topmost place, because there Krishna had his pastimes with Radharani and the gopis. So only the Vaishnavas, the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, are there in Radhakund, trying to attain pure prema bhakti, prema devotional service. And Rupa Goswami says if you bathe there once, you will get prema bhakti. But many people bathe there many times, and they still haven't got prema bhakti. So it doesn't mean that instruction is false, or that prediction is false, but it means that it doesn't apply to all. So those who are on the level of Baba and take bath in Radhakund, they'll attain the prema. But if you're not on the level of Baba, if you're still performing Vaidhi Bhakti, you can take, he says, Rupa Goswami says, you should take bath there as many times as possible for purification. But the devotees were neophyte and unaware of the glories of Radhakund. So in 1976, they came to Vrindavan for the Mayapur Vrindavan festival, Gaur Purnima festival, and they went to Radhakund and they jumped in the water and swam across like they thought it was a swimming pool. And when they went to Prabhupada and told him what they did, Prabhupada was very upset, and he said that no one should bathe in Radhakund till you know how to respect Radharani. This means that you shouldn't, doesn't mean you can't bathe in Radhakund, but you should do it in a respectful way. First offer obeisances, then carefully take bath without any kicking or swimming or playing. This is offensive to Radhakund. It's like kicking Radharani. There's already swam across Radhakund. They were kicking Radharani, but out of ignorance, they thought they should do that because they did that in so many other places when they weren't. There was no one checked them, but unknowingly they did this. So Prabhupada stopped and said, no one should take bath in Radhakund unless you know how to respect Radharani. So if it's your guru, you can ask your guru if he gives you permission to take bath in Radhakund, then you can do that. Otherwise, you just put 3 drops of water on your head. It's the same as bathing in Radhakund. So this way, Lord Chaitanya came and gave us this 8 prayers, and these 8 prayers we should use. These 8 prayers should be our constant companion, and we should recite them every day. Especially Trinadapi, Sunichana, Churapi, Sisana, Amanina, Mandena, Kirtanya Sadari. This is the process. If you want to chant the holy name continuously, 24 hours a day, you have to be free from all false prestige. And the Dandan, Najanan, Najanan, Nasundarim, Kavichavari, Ishwari, Mamajami, Jamanishwari, Bhagavat Bhakti, Ahita Kita E. This is the stage of Nartana Vritti, when one is free from all unwanted things. He has no desire for wealth, no desire for followers, no desire for a beautiful wife. He only wants pure devotional service, birth after birth. Doesn't even desire to get out of the material world. So these 8 prayers by Lord Chaitanya represent Sambandhan, Abhideya, and Parojana. So the last one says, whether you embrace me or make me broken-hearted by not being present before me, you're always my conditional Lord, always my Lord, unconditionally. This is the mood of Radharani, and this is the mood that we should try to cultivate and become Krishna conscious in this life and go back to Godhead and not have to suffer again in the material world. So now I have some seva, so I can't entertain any questions, but you can ask me at another time. Hare Krishna. Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.